Hi, hello, I'm Sonja Wood, and here we are at episode 25 of that board game show podcast. And in the studio with me today again is Jamie.
Hello.
That is my son. Anyway, today we're going to talk to you about our most recent plays. That's what we do here on this podcast channel. That's what we like to do, talk about games. And you know what? Recently we traded a game with a friend. He wanted something we had that we don't play much, and we wanted something he had that he doesn't play much. So we did the trade thing. And we were very, very delighted because I tell you the game I'm talking about. It's called Castle Panic. It so happened that this game had all the expansions. How many expansions is it, Jamie? 2 or 3?
3 total expansions. There's the Wizard's Tower was the first one. Then Dark Titan is the second one. And then Engines of War was the third one.
Okay, so now we played the first one. We played the base without the expansions, and we found it to be interesting in the fact that it can either absolutely destroy you or you can absolutely destroy it or something in the middle. So it can go any which way.
Rather swingy.
Yeah, rather. But boy, did we have fun. Sure, it is a cooperative game, and Jamie can explain to you just now about the actual game. But what I wanted to say is that it was very quick and easy to learn. And it was such a pleasure for me because we had been playing a heavier game. You might have heard in our previous podcast, we were talking about ISS Vanguard, and we've been delving into that. And so to put Castle Panic on the table, a nice light cooperative game that was just fun and exciting. It was a lot of fun. I just had a lot of fun with this game. And then we had some visitors come, and we said, let's play this with them because it's so quick and easy to teach. And so we did. And it was how many of us around the table? 6, because it plays up to?
Yeah, it was 6.
Plays up to 6, eh?
Yep.
And all of us, these were non-gamers, which just actually shows you that you can actually take Castle Panic, put it on the table, and teach it very quickly to people that are not board game hobbyists.
A great gateway game into co-ops.
Yeah. And my goodness, we all had fun. It was hilarious. The people at the table, I don't know about others, but I just really enjoy experiencing the people at the table when we play with a group. You probably gathered by now that Jamie and I, mother and son, we enjoy playing games of all different kinds. And the more you get into the hobby, the more you enjoy the more complex games. This is something I've discovered. We're not alone in that, I don't think.
That's a pretty common trend as you get deeper into the hobby. Your complexity scale rises. And sometimes it rises to a point, and then you realize you've gone too far, and then it plummets back down to super simple.
Yeah. Because you're tired of your brain melting, as they put it. But anyway, we discovered that we had a lot of light games and a lot of medium games and very few medium heavy and no heavy. So now
I think we had one heavy.
One heavy, right. And so now we're going into the medium heavy or heavy. That's where we are at the moment in our hobby.
All of this based on the Board Game Geek weight rating. So it's all a little bit loosey-goosey, but...
Yeah, it is. Anyway, back to Castle Panic, because that's what we've been doing recently. So we played it with these unexpected guests that came, and we had 6 people at the table, and we just had a lot of fun. What I was saying about the people is the different reactions. The one guy, he was like just strategizing, right, we've got to do this, we've got to do that, we've got to do the other. And the other person at the table was in drama or an actor or been in that sort of field. And
school drama, theater type person.
She was hilarious. She was doing all the actions and like really getting into the theme. And, and another one was just absolutely a bag of nerves the whole time. Like, oh no, what's coming next? A goblin. Oh no, what am I going to do? No, I don't want any more goblins. So that was one. Just like panicking. Castle Panic. Panicking like crazy. All the way through. When we had finished the game, somebody who wasn't playing the game said, did you enjoy it? And she said, oh, it was so stressful. So there's one person saying, oh, it was so much fun, and another one saying, oh, it was so stressful. But my experience, personally, was just lots and lots of fun. So that's what we've been playing the last week, Castle Panic. And people have been coming and going, and we've been playing with them.
And for anyone who wants to know how you actually play Castle Panic, basically it's a tower defense game. So you've got a castle in the middle of the board, which is like it's this modular castle. It's made up of multiple little cardboard bits that represent the walls and the tower. So you've got the walls, a ring of walls, and the board is a big ring broken up into, like pie slices.
Segments.
So little arcs. And you've got these little triangular monster tokens that each have a certain number of hit points, and they're going to start off in the furthest arc, which is the forest, and then they slowly move down at the end of every player's turn, one step closer toward the castle.
And the aim is to destroy the castle.
Yeah. Their goal, the lose condition of the game, is if all your tower pieces are destroyed. There's 6 towers in the middle of the board, surrounded by 6 walls. And if all 6 of your towers are destroyed, you lose. And the only way to win is to defeat all the monsters before they have a chance to do that.
And let me tell you, we have played where there's 1 tower left standing. We've played when there are no towers left standing. We played when there's 5 towers left standing after the end of the game. So
I think once we've even managed to win without a single tower being destroyed.
Sure. And then I've got to tell them about the 3D. See, we don't do much blinging out, as they say, of our games, but it's something we're starting to get involved in more and more. And Jamie's got a little home desktop 3D printer. And these little cardboard pieces weren't, they were okay, just okay. And he went off to Thingiverse, is it?
Yeah.
And he found a model, somebody who had designed...
Yeah, somebody who played Castle Panic a ton with their family, and they decided they didn't like these little cardboard bits, and they had a 3D printer, so they clearly are a wizard when it comes to 3D modeling, rendering stuff.
And I just sat there being amazed.
Because they've created this entire modular 3D printed castle, and the walls are these big chunky modular pieces, and he's printed a base.
Beautiful.
And then it also, in the files were included the extra components you get in the various expansions. So the Wizard's Tower expansion, funnily enough, comes with a Wizard's Tower. So that replaces one of your towers. You plop in this Wizard's Tower, which has got like
an extra bit on
extra building on top of the tower piece. And then the Engines of War expansion added a keep. It's like this massive extra structure. So he built that as well.
And so brilliant man, I don't know his name. Do you know his name? Oops, we don't know his name.
Not a fan.
But you know what?
I'll leave a link to the Thingiverse file in the description of the podcast.
I am so impressed with this guy. The whole time I'm watching, I'm thinking, what a genius.
He also did a video showing how he actually modeled it out and put it together and everything. So
thank you to
fascinating.
You. Thank you to you, the man, the nameless man at the moment.
The really creator.
Very big apologies for not knowing your name right now, but I am impressed by you anyway, if you're going to listen to this podcast. We must send him this podcast link. Say thank you. Because let me tell you what's happened. It has completely transformed Castle Panic. You've got this magnificent 3D sculptured plastic creation of a castle in the middle of the game, but not too overpowering where you can't actually see what's going on. So some things do that. They're too much for the game. This is nicely balanced. So we have
maybe
done
a
that.
fraction tall.
Yeah, a little bit maybe.
Because like if it can block the pieces directly opposite from you. Especially with the keep, which makes it even taller.
Well, what we've discovered is nobody has said that it hasn't, and we've had a few rounds of 5 and 4 and 2.
Yeah, it hasn't been an issue at all.
Not at all. So it's just been impressive, actually. That's, if anything, people have gone, oh, wow, look at this lovely castle. So that is what we have to tell you. This is going to be a shorter podcast than usual because it is crazy time here.
Well, it's the last podcast of 2023.
Oh, yes.
Or is it? Yes, I think it is.
Yes, it is. Because next week, they go up every second week.
Yeah.
So the next one will be the new year.
Recording this on the 21st of December, just before Christmas, New Year madness. So.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I'm going to be buzzing off because of the fact that there's just so much going on at the moment. But I'm glad we could stop in at the studio to be able to talk about Castle Panic because it's been a hit. And before I go, what I want to also say is, as Jamie just said, it's Christmas, New Year, and, our home's going to be a bit like a railway station. And you've guessed it, I'm sure. What game am I going to put on the table? In the hopes that our family and friends will be keen to give it a whirl, because
try and entice the family into the game room.
So far, our experience has just been that this Castle Panic has been a hit. So that was a good trade. That one worked out. And the guy we traded with, we asked him how it was going with the games he's playing, that we traded with him. And he's been very delighted. It's worked out for him as well.
Win-win.
So, yeah, we're happy.
Smiles all around.
So did you have anything else you wanted to talk about regarding Castle Panic? What has been your experience of it? I've been talking about how much I've enjoyed it.
I found the base game to be maybe a bit simple and a bit swingy. So I'm very glad that we've got all the expansion content. We've barely scratched the surface with that. I think we've played with the Wizard's Tower once. And then immediately pulled that out because we were playing it with new players and then new players. So we haven't really got the full experience of all the expansion bits. So I'm looking forward to delving into that and seeing what they bring, because I do find the core game, while a lot of fun, I find once you've sort of solved it, it's quite winnable, and it's also potentially quite lucky. If you just get a bad deal of cards that don't allow you to fend off the monsters at the right time, then they're just going to take over your castle and you're going to lose. Whereas I think the expansions add in more variety and more control. Definitely. And like the Wizard's Tower adds an entire extra deck of cards that are the Wizard deck that give you special effects. You can like send out a fireball that blows up an entire arc of the map, and you can, reinforce, you can put a spell on your wall, or you can make the enemies attack each other instead of advancing, and all this kind of...
All kinds of extra things happen with those cards. Yeah. But, in the end of the day, I am very much about the theme of games. And I just find it very exciting, this game, and very intense. In actual fact, the one time Jamie was just laughing and laughing on the other side of the table. And I told him, I don't know why this is funny, because it's not funny, because there's goblins coming. And he took out his phone and he did a little bit of videoing of what he was finding funny. And what he was actually finding highly amusing was me, because I was so involved in the game and it was so intense, and I'm going, oh no. So basically, I just get involved, and I just think the theme really captivates me as far as keeping me interested. So as you say, it's a little bit on the easy light side for you to keep you interested.
As the base game, I think that with the expansion content, it dials it up a notch or two.
So that's why I like doing these podcasts, because there's so much variety in the individuals and personalities, and some people love theme and some people don't even look at theme. They're just all about the mechanic or whatever it is. So, yeah.
Yeah, you're all about theme.
I am. Love the theme. I get so totally immersed in the theme and terribly involved in it without even realizing, and hence causing lots of amusement for other people around the table. like when we were playing with this group, the one person rolled something or other, 3, and they needed to roll a 6 so that the boulder would go and roll through out of the forest, and it would not damage the tower, but it would rather damage the goblins on the way. And they didn't roll a 6 or whatever the number was. And so they rolled the 3. And I go, no, you're supposed to roll 6. And the person said, but I couldn't help it. Like, they took it so personally that I was upset that it was a 3 instead of a 6. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, lots and lots of fun. Yeah. But now you know what? I need to go and check if they came today to fetch those things. So I'm going to have to buzz off.
You're going to dash?
And I'm going to just leave you to say goodbye to everybody. And I'm going to say bye-bye and festive season greetings and blessings and happinesses and all those good things for all of you. And thanks for listening to this podcast. Bye. Oh, I must tell them I'm going to make tea, because that's what I'm going to do. I normally tell you I'm off to make tea, don't I? Because that's what I always go and do. So I'm going to go make tea. Okay, bye.
And while Mom shoots off to make tea, I'll let you know what's happening on the YouTube channel in January. We've got quite a few videos lined up for you. We've got Simon Reed with his next episode of Read the Card, playing through the solo Ultima fan-made expansion for Cascadia, which was really a lot of fun. He's very amusing when he's playing, and he also is very much theme-focused and really gets into the theme and explains the game. And I find it a very nice balance of explaining the rules and also getting lost in the theme and the story and everything. So you've got that to look forward to on... let me get up my phone and let you know what the actual date is of that release. The 5th of January, you can watch Simon playing Cascadia all by himself. And then we'll have another podcast for you on the 12th, the next Friday after that. And then on the 19th of January, I've got in the pipeline a video for Tiny Epic Defenders coming. Another one of the fantastic Tiny Epic series of games, where they've crammed a huge amount of game into a very small box. And I'm hoping to do some more of the Tiny Epic games. We've got quite a few of them, and they've all got really good solo modes. So I'm going to be focusing on the solo play of the Tiny Epic series and trying to put out some more of those throughout the course of 2024. And so that's the news. That's what's coming up. And several other projects in the pipeline, which I'm excited to share with you come 2024. And if you appreciate what we do here, we would greatly appreciate your support over on Patreon, or you can become a YouTube member, and that will give you access to a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes videos and bonus content, and it will really help us out with just keeping the channel going and keeping the content coming. And remember to look in the show notes of this episode for the link to that 3D castle for Castle Panic. I'll leave a link to the Thingiverse files, so if you have a 3D printer, you can go bling out your own copy of Castle Panic. We have the first edition of Castle Panic, is the one we got in the trade. There has since been released a new second edition with new art and components and all sorts of things. And if I'm not mistaken, I think in the second edition Kickstarter, they had a deluxe castle 3D thing. So if you have that, maybe you already have a 3D castle in your set. But for those of us who didn't back the Kickstarter, we can now go 3D print our own fan-made castle. And tremendous thanks to the creator of that, who has really enhanced our gameplay of Castle Panic. And with that, I shall say happy festive season's greetings and happy gaming throughout the course of the remaining holidays and into the new year. And may your new year be filled with happy memories and fun around the table. Thank you ever so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the show.